Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of the Video Games Ahoy Podcast. My name is Jonathan Radford, and for the very first podcast of 2021, I'm joined by Dav Gape, Dav Weeks, and Zach Hamilton.
Jiggy! I didn't know where we were going.
I didn't know where you were going.
I just thought Jiggy was like...
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going, and I absolutely enjoyed that.
I'm glad that we were all on the same page.
Yeah. How are you doing, gents?
All good, man.
Yeah. We've so before we start getting onto, because we're gonna start, it's gonna be a different type of podcast today. We're gonna talk about predictions in a little bit. That's gonna take a while because we've got an awful lot. Well, Zach's got a banger.
I do. Actually, do you know what? I'm not even afraid to say it. It's a banger. You guys are gonna think it's great.
Okay.
You guys are gonna
very
really
excited.
get on board.
We don't know anyone else's predictions. Dav Gabe is going to take the lead on a lot of that, which is going to be really fun. But yeah, we got loads of predictions to talk about, which is going to be nice because when it comes to next year, we can look back and see just how many we got right or how many we got wrong. I'm really hoping there's like a really obscure option that one of us just nails completely. I'm really hoping.
The chances
for that.
are something's gonna be right. You know, if we put out enough predictions, we just throw at the wall, see what sticks.
So yeah, just keep saying things. Eventually, words will make sense and something will happen. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll get into games we've been playing as well. Before that, we'll just talk about the podcast. If you are listening to this for the first time, then hello. We're Video Games Ahoy, and if you know us, then welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again. We put these episodes out every Saturday morning, and you can listen to us via the podcast hosting site of your choice. But if you want to see these deliciously dreamy faces, then check us out on YouTube. Because we're on there as well. And stick around to the end because we'll have a quick chat about Patreon page and what we offer over there. I just put out a new episode of the Hall of Fame. We'll get onto why it's taking me so long to do that in a little bit. But yeah, so we've just put a new Hall of Fame episode out. So check that if you are one of our patrons. It was very controversial. That was probably the most controversial episode of the Hall of Fame. I think Dav Weeks is reminding himself. Do you know what? I was listening to it last night, and there was a couple of moments where I was just you in particular were just like so smug at certain points, and it's just so funny. But yeah, check
about that.
It's a great one. It's a good
I've come
one.
to quitting video games.
But yeah, check that out because and also if you do sign up to our Patreon page, then you get to listen to the previous 3 episodes as well. And they're a lot. I mean, as silly as they are and as serious as we sometimes get, they're a lot of fun and they just celebrate some cool stuff in games. So yeah, check those out as well. And to everyone that does contribute in the first place, then thank you. We are eternally grateful. We just really appreciate everything that you do for us. Now we're not going to talk about the news this week. We figure we'll probably start with that next week. Because I think there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. Games we've been playing over the last we've been gone for like two weeks. I think the last episode we really spoke about stuff was like 2 episodes ago. So that might have been 2-3 weeks ago. So does anyone want to start with anything they've been playing?
I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
Go.
My brother came over and just dropped over his Wii U because I fucking love the Wii U.
Nice.
I don't care what anyone says. And I played a few other games that I'll talk about, but the first one that I actually really got into was Lilac Wars, also known as Star Fox 64.
Nice.
And man, that game, you know what? For a 23-year-old game, fuck, that is a good game. That is a really damn good game.
Yeah, it is.
It is. The only thing is that it's frustrating. I was trying to do the hard path. There's like different paths you can do. And I was like, I wonder if I can remember how to do like the hardest ones. And they're a little frustrating. And there's a couple of little problems. Like for instance, there's certain fights where you kind of need like the upgrades. You need like the double lasers. And if you die, you can't get them back necessarily for certain fights, which kind of screws you over. Like I ended up losing like 9 lives and just ending, like getting into a game over right after a big long run. But on the bright side, it's quite a short game, so it's not so bad. And also the easy path still has loads of great. The replayability value of the game is just awesome. The controls are really tight. All the characters are really fun and like, you know, they feel like something. They're not just like, you know, whatever, zeros and ones, which is pretty impressive for a game of that time. You know, we talk about like other games of the same console of the same time, and it's it really, really holds up. I really recommend anyone who hasn't played it go and play it, which is something, and which I think is a big thing to say in of itself. But also, if you've played it before, I think definitely worth going back to.
It's interesting because for a lot of people, they've not improved on that game since that game in the series. Every game that's come out since has just either been a remake rather of that game, or just
Star Fox Assault did a really good job of the multiplayer because fighting your friends is really fun in that. But I'd say the single player
was that on the Wii U? Was that the one on the Wii U?
I was just going to say I also played Star Fox Zero, which is on the Wii U.
Right, that's the one on the Wii U. Okay.
And again, it's nice and punchy, and it feels very like, pew pew, yay, Star Wars and lasers and stuff. But it doesn't have the same charm. It doesn't have the same. You aim using the.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how difficult is that?
It's not difficult really, but I just don't think it's not very intuitive. I don't think.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like the scene from Star Wars. I mean, that's kind of what they're trying to emulate. They're trying to do a bit of Star Wars. The scene where they're like. It's like Han and...
Oh, yeah, Luke and
they're all and one of them says, like... I'm sure one of them says, like, yeehaw, or some shit.
Don't get cocky!
Exactly, it's that scene.
Yeah, don't get cocky.
It does have that kind of appeal, but I don't think it works quite as well. It is nice to see... I'm a big fan of seeing Nintendo characters in HD. Wait, no. Yeah, we're using HD.
Yeah, it was HD. Yeah, well, it would have been...
No, it's HD, whatever.
It is HD.
7
So it's, yeah.
But anyway, it's nice. What my point is, it's nice to see some of those cartoony characters looking nice and crisp because it does make a difference. I remember thinking that with Mario Kart the first time I played. That was nice seeing because that came out before Mario Odyssey. It was just nice to see Mario looking like he was
fresh.
From the from
fresh.
the not looking like he was from 2004.
He'd had a shower, combed his hair.
Exactly. Yeah, he had like several more polygons. Yeah, really worth that. Are we gonna go? Because I played so many games. I just want to like.
Well, tell you what, because I have 2 games to talk about. We've got a lot of time we can discuss games. So when we come back, if does anyone else have any more than one game they want to talk about? No. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Zach. We'll move on to someone else.
Off.
Oh yeah, actually, go on. We'll rattle off what you got to talk about.
First thing first, I lost my Ruby Nuzlocke and I'm heartbroken. I died in the Elite Four.
No.
I'm not doing it again. I don't want to do it. It honestly, the amount of grinding I did and I still lost and I'm furious.
It's gone.
I still had a lot of fun and I'm probably going to do Gen 4 next. I'm trying to fix my Nintendo DS, my old 20-year-old.
Oh, nice.
Worms Rumble just came out on the PS4 Plus.
I saw you playing that. When I was playing my place on my PS5 last night, it came up saying Zach Hamilton's playing that. I was like,
it's pretty interesting. I think if you can get it for free, it's worth a go. I don't think I would pay for it, especially, but I think it's going to have more of that Fortnite kind of appeal where you pay for skins and shit. And they did a really good job of adapting the original formula. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Mario 3D Land. I played that for the first time on Wii U.
Oh, nice.
I don't really like it. I don't think it's very good. Or 3D World.
3D World, yeah, 3D World, yeah.
It's I kind of got bored. We were playing 4-player, bear in mind, which should be super fun, but I just kind of zoned out. It's super easy and not all that interesting. On the other hand, I also played Nintendoland, which I haven't played in about 8 years. Play Nintendoland. If you have a Wii U, go play Nintendoland. It's great.
Remember you saying
super fun.
Both of you Wii U owners, go play Adventure.
Yeah, all
Zach and Zach's brother.
Yeah, me and my brother will play. Dan will play it again. I promise.
Do you think they could do a Nintendo Land for the Switch? I mean, they probably would have done it by now, I guess, if they would have. But
I don't think anyone liked it. I thought it was great though. Like it's got loads. It's a multiplayer game is the problem. I mean, you don't really want to play it on your own, admittedly, which was quite good for Christmas. I got my dad to play the Wii U, which I thought was hilarious. So
wow,
that was good.
You doubled their install base.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be so mean. Honestly, just leave Wii U and Dreamcast alone. Let them be.
Hey, they're both garbage.
I think this is a hill Dav's willing to die on.
The last thing is, I did finally manage to get into Resident Evil 7 VR, and wow,
How's that?
I'm honestly, I feel braver than I did before. I feel very impervious to fear because fuck, it's scary. But I don't think I would bother playing it without the VR. Personally, I don't think it's scary because you're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's typical survival horror stuff. So it's like, if you've played survival horror before, but the novelty of having VR is actually like painstakingly scary, and you can like lean around corners, like there's like cool. Someone like looking for you, and you like get to like peer around. Oh, it's great.
What I was going to say is because Resident Evil 7 is the first game in first person, right?
No, actually, no. Here's a fun little
Revelations.
Fact. No, Revelations is third person. It's a little known game called Resident Evil Survivor for the PlayStation 1, I believe.
Right.
And it's dog shit. But please play it because it's very funny. No, it's in a way, I mean, they're not all that dissimilar from each other, Resident Evil 7 and Survivor. It's just obviously one is polished and scary, and one of them is a bit of a cash grab. Survivor
polished and scary,
It was just an opportunity to... And in a way, it makes sense, I mean, they must have seen other PC developers making first-person Survivor. First-person Survivor is... survival horror, is it's an obvious way of going, you know what I mean? Like,
Outlast.
No surprises there. Outlast, a great example.
Zombie U wasn't that?
Zombie U's first person, yeah.
First person. Was that a good game? Because I think you've played that, right?
Zombie U's great. I haven't played it, although I do have it right here, and I could play it, but I haven't recently. I played it about 8 years ago and loved it.
Well, it's on other systems now called Zombie.
But it is that's the other thing. It's on PlayStation now, so.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if it's on Xbox. It might be.
I don't know, because wasn't it like a lot of it was tied into the gamepad a lot? Like, that was...
I mean, the thing is, the main appeal of it was when you went into your backpack, you had to look at this screen, but meanwhile, zombies could be, like, here, and that was quite fun. It was kind of like, oh, shit, like, do I... But you could... I feel like a translucent menu screen would be fine. I don't think it would spoil the game by any stretch.
It's,
fine.
I for a long time I was really, really wanting to pick up a Wii U because there were so many games in that I wanted to play. But they're bringing they brought the majority of the Wii U games over now. As soon as they bring Xenoblade Chronicles X and the Zelda games, I really have no reason to buy it other than using it for because they've got you can buy all the old Nintendo games. But then if they bring
they'll do that on the Switch ultimately.
Exactly. So
that would be, in fact, if no one's predicting that for this year, I reckon this year.
Virtual Console.
Yeah, surely by now. Jesus.
Never.
I think for a lot of I think a lot of people thought that the Virtual Console came out on the Wii U purely because the Wii U was doing so badly and they needed games. Because it was just,
I agree.
Wasn't
but it's always the problem with new consoles. New consoles are always struggling for new titles. It just seems like when you're doing, a different way of making a console, it just makes it harder for third-party developers. That's all. That's the biggest issue, isn't it? I mean, if you have been making games for the PlayStation 3, you can basically make games for the PlayStation 4. And PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, or Xbox 360, Xbox One to Xbox Series X. But if you're going from a Wii to a Wii U, I appreciate there's some overlap there. But it's still... That being said, going from GameCube to Wii, if you're a developer, I feel like that would have been the biggest step, I think. But they seem to make a shitload of games for that console. So,
well, apparently the internals of the GameCube to the Wii are not very different. So it wouldn't have been that hard. It was more incorporating the controllers. Well, that would have been the hardest part of that. But again, I'm not. That's not my expertise. Not that anything in gaming is my expertise, but still.
Yeah, no, that's a good point though, because they didn't make the jump to HD.
HD, it wasn't until the Wii U. That was the first time. But yeah. Awesome. Anything else, Zach?
I'm sorry. I had so much to get through that.
No, man.
Now.
Totally fine. Totally fine. Should we? Which one of you davs would like to go? Go. I don't know who said that. I don't know who said it, but go.
That was Gabe. Can you not tell his voice?
No, I couldn't. I really couldn't. I wasn't looking at the screen. All of a sudden, I just sort of me. I was like, go.
That's my killer impression.
It was actually
me.
So over Christmas, I played Dragon Quest, but I'm not going to talk about it because I haven't finished it. What I am going to talk about, which is a game I also haven't finished, but I've been streaming it, Cuphead. Good lord, that game is beautiful. The soundtrack is phenomenal.
It is great, isn't it? It's so good.
It is very hard.
Can I just say, I want to commend you, Dav, for the cool-headedness with which you faced that game. I sat and watched a lot of your first stream of it, and I was Honestly, I was getting more anxious and frustrated than I think you were. That game is hard, man. It's
so hard.
Game.
Oh.
I internalized a lot of my anguish. There was one. So I've streamed it twice now, and I've done the first 10 bosses. And the 10th boss that I did, 9th boss that I did, was a dragon. That dragon took me over an hour.
Oh.
One fight, over an hour. And, like, it's a 2.5-minute fight. That's a lot of death.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some serious death.
But there is the occasional design issue that I have with it. Sometimes it feels like it's not fair. Like, it's challenging all the time, and like, but it always feels like, oh, I died because I did this. Whereas, like, it's like, oh, that wasn't fair. That little bit of randomness was not okay.
Yeah.
And that dragon had a couple of things like that. But the boss designs overall are just amazing. Like, such variety, and the soundtrack. So every time you go from world to world after every 5 bosses, you go to this place called the Die House, and you get there, and there's this guy called Mr. King Dice, and he just sings this like 1930s jazz song about like, Mr. King Dice, and it's just like, oh, I just love this game, everything about it. I could just sit here and listen to this song over and over again. In fact, after the first time streaming it, I just went to YouTube, found a live recording of that, and watched it, and I was like, yeah.
Music
is
incredible.
Like all the good bits of the game without any of the death.
It's an interesting thing though, because I stopped playing. I played it for about 2-3 hours, and I was just like, I could feel myself getting frustrated, and I was like, I have so many other things I want to play, and I appreciate so much about this game, but I just don't want to keep. I hate, like, I couldn't do it. That's why I know I could never play Dark Souls, because it is so hard, and I don't have. I'll just
you don't
want to
put
something
yourself
else.
in that mood. As
Yeah,
well.
I just don't.
want to
That's
be
the
like,
thing.
this
Like,
was my fault. I feel bad because I chose this.
I think as well. It's interesting because, like, I know. I'd be interested to see what Dav thinks, actually, because there's a big thing about accessibility in games, like difficulty levels as well, and some people couldn't play that game because it is so hard in a way that, like you say, it's so challenging on times that
there is easy mode.
I thought that with the easy mode, can you not, like, there's certain things you can't do though, isn't there? Like,
I don't know, but I don't know, I've never played on easy mode because I'm a true gamer.
Yeah.
But on every boss at the beginning it goes easy or normal.
Yeah.
So you can choose to play it on easy. I don't know what it's like though. Maybe I'll try it out and see what it's like. And I'll report back. But, I totally get you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's with difficulty and accessibility. It's kind of hard to argue with, like, creative vision. In the same way, like, it's like making a sculpture, and it's like, okay, well, some people aren't going to be able to see that. And it's like making a song and going, okay, well, you're not going to be able to fully experience it if you have a hearing impairment. There are other ways around that to experience it in your own way, but in the same way you can try and play Cuphead, I guess. But
it's also not
go at it hard enough. But I think as far as accessibility goes, with terms of difficulty of games, if you spend long enough at a game, you will get through it. Like, when we played games when we were growing up, games were hard.
Yeah.
And especially before us, like in the 80s, games were hard. But you only had one game, and you spent every day of every month, every year playing that game until you beat it. And we did it then. As far as difficulty and accessibility, there's a strange world of, like, I'm not sure what classes as accessibility. Whereas, like, something like The Last of Us 2, the levels of accessibility in a game like that absolutely needs to be in every game.
Yeah. Well, I think just making I think it's like the thing, like, a lot of people don't think there should be an easy mode in, like, Dark Souls. Which I do understand that completely, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, for whatever reason, there could be lots of reasons why someone couldn't play the game at the speed that's required.
Sure.
And that just it becomes like a gatekeeping thing, and it's not so much that, like, I think developers do it on purpose, and like totally agree with you, Dev. Like artistic intention and integrity as well is like a big thing when it comes to games. This is how they want to be played. But I think sometimes people are just like, oh, there can't be an easy mode because you've got to be. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of like.
Fuck off.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
I mean, is that ever the developers?
No.
That's just loud people. That's just loud, annoying internet people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no developer's ever like, oh, I hope only half the people that could play this game
can
play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, I definitely
They want
everyone...
to sell their game.
Exactly, it's their job.
But it is interesting because I think in the same way like an easy, but it's in the kind of on the flip side, maybe there should be difficulty options in going both directions. Like Pokemon, for instance. I know Zach, you've previously spoken about how easy Pokemon is, and it would be nice if there was a hard mode without having to like artificially create a hard mode, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is a topic for another time. But like,
I've been playing Pokemon Sword again.
Have you?
Yeah, I went and got the legendary after the credits, and then it says the end, and I went, oh, okay. There was actually like a lot more to it than just beating the final. There was like you have to go through every gym and like fight different Pokemon and stuff, which I thought was cool. And the reason why I started picking up again is because we're doing a co-stream, me and Angelo Baby on Twitch next Saturday afternoon at 4:30. We're going to do some Dynamax Adventure raids. And you can only do that once you get like halfway through the second expansion. So I'm like, oh, well, I haven't done any of the expansions.
Catch up.
But we're playing with viewers, and it's going to be cool. We're going to talk about like stuff, and yeah, kind of a jolly old time. So I thought, right, I'll crack on with that while I'm working from home. I mean, when I finish my shift, when I'm working. But yeah, been playing that. Actually enjoying it. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing though. When my Ruby run, one of the big gripes I had was obviously, and it was always the gripe I had, which is grinding. And then the only thing beyond that is EV training, which I find a bit frustrating because without EV training, you are at a big disadvantage, and that's really frustrating. It just means you have to overlevel. For anyone who doesn't know what EV training is, you get an invisible value every time you fight certain Pokemon, which affects your individual stats. So, for instance, if you fight Marils, you get HP stats. If you fight Ponyta, you get speed stats, so on and so forth. Which means that you actually benefit by running away from certain fights, which slows the training down by even fucking more than it already is. It takes fucking forever. Honestly, the amount of time that I spent grinding, I'm still very, very upset about my Ruby run.
If it's any consolation, a fellow streamer that I enjoy watching called Austin11 has been doing something called a revenge lock, which is like Nuzlocke, but viewers can like tip to like bring some back from the dead, or like to like name your Pokemon and stuff. And
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's also got a randomizer. So it randomizes like who the opening 3 Pokemon are going to be. It randomizes every item in the game.
That's cool. I like that.
Randomizes what all the trainers have, and like he's got some interesting options so far. The one was like you can either start with a Blastoise or a Poochyena, and he let chat vote, and obviously they went Poochyena.
Yeah, Poochyena, of course.
Good luck, mate.
I mean, I don't know what that is, but I know what a Blastoise is, and I know that's very, very good.
It's a little dog.
Yeah, it's like one of the first Pokemon you get in like one of the... Right. Although it does get Intimidate, which is a very useful ability.
Blastoise has cannons out of its shell.
That's naturally intimidating.
I know, like, it's a little... Yeah, it's intimidating. Yeah, it's very intimidating. Awesome. Dav, anything else you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what Dav Weeks has been playing.
Dav Weeks, what have you been playing?
Okay. So, as soon as I got back from Brighton on Christmas Day...
Oh, I know. I think.
Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been looking forward to get back on it. And I was really hoping to have completed it by this chat, because I'm really close. I've unlocked...
Are you really?
Yeah, I've unlocked the last boss. Nice. But I'm not ready to fight him yet, because I'm still having fun going around and doing all the other little bits. Like, I got all the grubs. That was fun.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm going to carry on with that. Also, this was a bit embarrassing. So, like, I took the Switch, and I took loads of games, and most of them I didn't play, because I then bought Final Fantasy VIII.
I love that.
I just then played Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Do you know, I beat that game about, I think it was last year maybe. I beat 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the Switch, like as soon as when they were all coming out.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I have a better. I think I like 8 more than I remembered.
Yeah, it's my favourite one.
Yeah.
And I know that's a very unpopular opinion because so many people prefer all the other ones.
Yes.
But I love it. I think Final Fantasy VIII is brilliant.
It's interesting, though, because I was talking to one of my friends the other day who also loves 8. 8 is his favourite. 8 is also my brother's favourite. So I actually know more people who like 8 more than like the other games. Because mine is 10. But 10 is my favourite, as well as also 7. And I know Dabs is 9. And Zax is 13. But
I was this close to streaming it, and then I was like, I can't bear it.
just can't
Not
do
even
it.
for 2 hours.
Come
Nope.
on.
just one stream,
No.
one stream.
Nope.
I'd love it.
No.
But it is interesting that they're all the same age. Like, you're all the same age.
Right.
All roughly like 32, 34. Like, that. It's just interesting that, like, maybe it's a nostalgia thing. That's why. Was it the first one you played?
I don't know. I genuinely can't remember what the first one I played was. It was probably 7, to be honest. But
7 was
I can't
definitely
really
mine.
remember.
What, back when you were 25?
That's right. Yeah. I got it with the money I made from, I know, coal mining.
Going down the mine.
Yeah.
I was going to say sweeping chimneys and stuff.
Killing saber-toothed tigers.
Yeah. So where are you now in 8? Where have you just got to?
I've just got a Galbadia garden.
Okay.
So, I'm really not that far into it.
How are you finding it? How are you finding it? Like, because when was the last time you played it? Was it recently or?
No, I haven't played for ages. What I really appreciate and kind of regret a bit about the remaster. So they give you a few options to basically get you through the game quicker.
They do, yeah.
Because talking about grinding, mate, Zach, sympathies. So what you can, like, the good one is 3 times speed.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Get you through the grinding 3 times as fast. Mm-hmm. And then the button that's a little bit overkill for simplifying is on your other Joy-Con. If you hit it, instant full heal and Renzakukens galore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay, now this feels like cheating.
It's a bit. It's a bit.
The 3 times speed just gets you through it quicker.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't do anything else.
The insta heal and limit breaker button, like, just at your will. It's like, I kind of wish I could turn that off in the menu because it's just so easy for me to just knowing it's there. I could literally go boop boop, and then everybody's fully healed again.
And that's the thing is
that feels cheaty. It's too easy to do. It's too tempting.
It does feel like a cheat.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like a cheat because they did the same thing with the 7 and 9 as well. And I liked using the like the same. I don't know if you are using it, but I did use to quicken up everything just because it can sometimes take so long to get across the map on times. It's just sort of doon.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like so slow. Quicker. Just go and then he's running across.
Yeah.
But how are you finding it? Like, are you enjoying the experience? Is it holding up for you?
Oh yeah, I played hours in Brighton. I haven't picked it up since because Hollow Knight, but I will absolutely get back on it because I really like it. I just like the story. I like the characters. It's fun. I like it.
It's a great game. Yeah. But awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
Quick shout out to a game that got recommended to me the other day by my brother-in-law, and who very kindly gave me the money to buy it because he really wanted me to play it. Katana Zero. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
I believe it's the Hotline Miami guys who made it.
It's on Game Pass.
There we are.
There we go.
Obligatory mention.
Yeah, I mean, I've not played much of it. It's because I'm terrible at it, but I have a feeling it's just one of those things that you just it gets easy as you go because as you get used to the different moves. It looks great. It looks
beautiful.
Lovely pixel art, kind of cyberpunky aesthetic. You're a samurai going into office blocks and killing everybody and putting blood up the walls, which is always entertaining. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm seeing how that goes. Hopefully it'll get better soon.
I like that. Because I've seen that a couple times on the Switch, on just the eShop, and I wanted to pick it up, but because is it a roguelite?
It's a die lots and get straight back into it.
It's very much you've got one scene, you have to try and get through it in one go very quickly, and if you don't, you're back at the start.
Back at the start, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially Hades. Hades does that as well. I think one of the reasons why Hades is getting so much love was because it was incorporating story elements into that as well, which is, I'm still waiting for Zach to play Hades. It just feels like a game that Zach would really enjoy. I don't know why. I just feel like that's a game you might like.
I actually got given. This is funny. My girlfriend's parents were like, "Oh, we want to get Zach a nice present. Can you get him some wine or something?" And she's like, "Zach doesn't drink wine." They were like, well, what should you get him? And she was like, get him like a £10 voucher for the PlayStation. And that is what they got me, which is
I love that.
Such a good gift. But I have to find like an indie to buy with it. So maybe that would be the one. Wait, I don't know how much it is.
Hades not on the PlayStation yet. It's still only on Steam.
Really?
Yeah, Steam and Nintendo.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that actually.
Yeah, still only on those two.
Dang.
I imagine it will come eventually. It's just getting it's too big not to, and there's no reason why it's not. I mean, it's only on the Switch because indie games do so well on the Switch.
Is it
like
a
sometimes
£50
twice.
game or is it's smaller than
20
that?
quid? 20
Yeah,
quid?
yeah. I was gonna say I just had this moment where I thought, shit, is it much bigger than I thought it was?
Yeah. But yeah, Dav, Weeks, anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, I'm good.
Cool. So I'm just gonna briefly talk about two games I've played, and I say briefly. I mean, I put 60 hours into both of these. So I, as you can already tell, I actually wasn't very well over Christmas. I actually got the Rona, which is crazy. But it meant that I had a lot of free time to just sit down and do nothing. So I played through Cyberpunk, which I'll talk about first. Because I don't want to get too bogged down on like the whole Cyberpunk thing again. But it is a good game when it works. The game crashed on me every 2 hours. It's like every 2 hours I'd be playing it would crash, and it doesn't seem like a big deal really because you're playing for 2 hours, but like when it happens to you like 15 times, it does just make you go, when it happens I can't be asked to play anymore because it's just going to piss me off now. The game itself though is when it gets fixed, if you ignore the bugs, the game is really good. I can see why it got the reviews it did on the PC where it works, but the fact that it still doesn't work on the PS5. It just took me out of the game so many times. And I still put 60 hours into it, and I will definitely go back into it this year when it eventually gets a PS5 patch. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much. I did still really enjoy that game, and there's so much about it that I loved. And the game I'm going to talk about next, I'll actually bring it back into Cyberpunk because the side quests in Cyberpunk, very much like The Witcher, are some of the best parts of the game. And CD Projekt Red, for all the shit they've done over the last year or what have you, they still know how to make a good side quest. And that is one of the strengths of The Witcher 3. Like, Cyberpunk, the side quests are really fun, and they're so, like, they can be so varied. Like, the next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of, it's not the inverse with it, but it's more like the main story is really good, and some of the side quests are really good, but then like it gets bogged down with the open world, and that's Ghost of Tsushima, which I really loved. It was really strange because I read the reviews for Ghost of Tsushima like recently, and I think they were a little bit harsh. And I've spoken to a couple of my friends who've completed the game, and they kind of agreed in that it feels like it didn't get as much praise. I know for a lot of people it was their game of the year, and I can completely see that now. But it felt like it was more to do with like open world fatigue rather than it being a less than good game, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't really do anything new, but everything is of such quality, apart from something I'll talk about in a little bit, that I don't know, it seems really weird because for me, I can totally see why for a lot of people it's their game of the year. Completely, 100%. If you love Japanese culture, I know there was a lot of people, a lot of Japanese reviewers who actually were really impressed by how well the game represents a lot of Japanese culture, considering the game is made by Sucker Punch, which is a European company as well. So it's like, they did a really good job of immersing you into this world. I did play with the Japanese. I played with English subtitles, but I played with them talking in Japanese for a long time. But I was I was so ill at one point where I couldn't really concentrate, so like I had to flip it back into English just to actually understand what was happening for a lot of the time, because I couldn't always concentrate what was going on. But yeah, it was a really, really good game, and I finished it yesterday, and I would 100% recommend it to you. I mean, if you like open world games and if you like Japanese culture, then it's something you should definitely play. I know me and Dav Week spoke about it just before we started, but yeah, I'd recommend that game. And also on the PlayStation 5, it looks unbelievable because it runs at 60 FPS frames per second, and yeah, it's just gorgeous. Combat's amazing, and it's kind of a lot of the things in the combat. Actually, I would say the things that I wanted from Star Wars when I played Jedi Fallen Order recently. A lot of how the combat played just made you feel so powerful, but you could also die really quickly. If that makes sense. If you mistimed everything, you're dead. But if you can get the timing right, you're a really badass samurai, and it's awesome. But yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything else we can talk about, unless anyone else has any other games they want to speak about. Oh, before we go, actually, I have just started Doom Eternal, which means that I would have played all of the games of the year nominated apart from Hades. So I'm gonna try and play Hades, and then give my what I would like place them. Not that it makes not that it means anything, but like where I would place them. Yeah. That
we care, Johnny.
I'm glad. No one else does. But yeah, it's I'm playing Doom Eternal. It's a lot of fun, but it's such a weird thing going from Ghost of Tsushima to Doom. Like it's so bizarre. Like it was weird going from Cyberpunk to Ghost of Tsushima so quickly, but going from it might not have been as weird going from Cyberpunk to Doom. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. I'm only about an hour in, but it's just mad. It's just mad. It's so bonkers, but that's kind of how Doom is now. But
quick question, Johnny.
Yes.
If someone had to sneak in right now and take either Cyberpunk or Ghost of Tsushima away from you, which one would you be clutching to your heart more?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Well, he's got 2 copies of Ghost of Tsushima. So
I mean, here, take this one. Still packaged. That's a really tricky one because, like, I would say story-wise. Oh, actually, one thing I was going to say about Ghost of Tsushima, it is so dark. Like, there's some, like, I just want to briefly mention very quickly, because I forgot to mention earlier, like, so many of the storylines, and I'm not even joking, I won't talk about them specifically, but so many of the small storylines or stuff like, someone's son has died, and you have to go and find their brother, and their brother, like, you find out that he sent his brother off to get killed, because he wanted to save his other son, and then they killed the other son because they were just like, "Ha, I'm playing you," and then you go back to find the dad, and the dad killed himself, and you're like, "My God, like this is like so many of the stories are like that." Like,
bit much.
So, like honestly, it does do a really good job of showing just how how brutal war is, especially like background then where people would just be killed so easily. It is so brutal, and I wasn't really expecting that. But yeah, if I had to pick,
5.
I would probably say Cyberpunk
1,
which is, I think with the reason why with Cyberpunk is I've pretty much 100% completed Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't done that with Cyberpunk, and I've still when the PS5 upgrade comes in. There will be a lot more that I'll experience in that game. And I enjoyed them both equally. It's just what, like, Cyberpunk kept crashing on me, which was infuriating. But yeah, if I had to pick, I probably would go Cyberpunk. But that's just me personally, even though it has all those annoying bugs and glitches. Awesome. Dav, should we kick off our predictions? Because we're about 35 minutes in now. Let's go on predictions.
Baby, don't worry, we're going to rifle through these. So, what we've got is a bunch of old games, a bunch of new games, a bunch of unreleased games. And some of them exist in the ether, some of them might exist and we don't know about them. I'm going to be asking, I want three things: announced, released, delayed. So, if a game hasn't been announced yet and you think it's going to be announced, you say announced. If a game has been announced and you think it's going to get released this year, you say released. And if a game isn't going to come out this year, whether or not it's delayed or not, I couldn't think of another word, you say delayed. So that's a game you're like, nah, that's not coming out this year. Or maybe ever. You just say delayed.
I like this game.
All right, so we've got a bunch. We've got 6 games for each of the 3 main console manufacturers. Wait, 6 or 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. 6 or 7. And then we've got 4 for a few developing studio publisher people. So we're going to start off with PlayStation. And I've not given this any thought, so I'll also shout out whatever mine is as well. We'll go in order. We'll go Johnny, Dav, Zach, me. Yeah? Every time.
Yeah,
we'll just
cool.
go,
Yeah, cool.
Johnny, Dav, Zach, me. Alright, so the first one, PlayStation. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Do I think it's going to get delayed this year, or
Announced, released, delayed.
as in like will it be released? I think it'll release.
2021.
It'll release in April.
Released in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. That 100% gets released.
Release.
Yeah, 100%.
Zach?
I'm gonna go delayed. I think.
Ooh, thinks it's going delayed.
I don't know. I just got a feeling.
I tell you what, delayed doesn't have to be out of 2021.
Right.
I
say
think,
that. We'll say
I think
that.
it will be though. I think it might go into 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
Yeah.
No, I'm convinced it comes out. It was.
I mean, it may.
It was.
We'll see.
no.
That's what
I,
this is all about.
It was. There was a thing I was reading yesterday where it was almost ready enough to come out within the first 2 months of of November and December, which makes me feel like it's going to be within the first 6 months. So yeah, I'd say April.
Lovely. I'm saying released as well. That was a softball, Zach. Good luck. All right, the next. Okay, all right. 4 categories. We're gonna have announced, released, delayed, dismayed.
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 Dismayed
I like this.
means it's leaving 2021,
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
or not coming into 2022.
Just cancelled.
Yeah. God of War Ragnarok announced, released, delayed, dismayed.
It's good. Well, I guess dismayed. Then I don't think it makes 2021.
All right, Dad.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, dismayed.
Didn't they just do
Not
a
enough
God of
to know
War
about
game?
that yet.
Zach.
I don't know. I didn't even realize that was coming out. Let's say dismayed.
I'm gonna say released.
It could be this year. I think it could be
Yeah.
released this year. I mean, if they're using the same engine as the last one, which I guess they probably are.
All we've had
Next
so
one.
far is a JPEG, which is kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. Is it?
But
like,
what a JPEG.
Yeah, I mean, but like that's all they've shown, and it kind of feels like Metro
that
Prime
doesn't,
4.
That doesn't bode well.
It doesn't.
To be
It
fair.
doesn't bode well. Like they could have
Well.
shown something at the Game Awards, and they didn't.
Metro Prime
Expect someone
4
on
might
Twitter
get
now to give a
mentioned later.
full half-hour review of that JPEG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can read it on Video Games Ahoy's page. Next game. Horizon Forbidden West.
That I mean, I don't know when I don't think it's been given. If we're talking delayed, it hasn't been given it will release in 2021, but I don't think it's been given a date in 2021. I think it's just latter
delayed
6 months.
counts if they give it a date and then it gets delayed. That
Yeah,
will
okay.
count as delayed.
Well, no, I think it gets released this year, but I don't think it's been given a date yet. So I think it'd just be the latter half of this year.
Dav?
Released.
Zach?
Yeah, I think it's going to get released.
Yeah, I think delayed. I think it'll get
you?
announced, delayed, and then the date will get announced, get delayed, and come out still in 2021.
Do you think it'll end up being like a sort of winter release?
I do, yeah. I think they'll
Yeah.
plan for the October, and then it'll be like late November.
That
And
sounds
I think
plausible, actually.
I think
yeah.
so. So
I don't think it'll be as good as everyone's hoping it's going to be.
No,
I
it's just gonna be
disagree.
more
I'm
of the
gonna say
same.
the inverse. I think it's going to be better than the first one.
I think it's going to be more of the same. If you like the first one, but you could go and have more, then quid's
The
in.
first
If
one's-
you,
the
if
first
you didn't
one's
like the
great,
first
like-
one, it's not going to
Well,
be any
if
better.
you like more of the same, how about Gran Turismo 6?
Yeah, that definitely comes out this year.
Yeah.
100% that game comes out this year. I think that game could have come out last year if they wanted to push it. That game's coming
that's
out this
got to
year.
come out, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Surely.
I think they've had plenty of time.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's coming out.
I'm going to say dismayed.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that's going into
Never going to see the
2022.
light of day.
I think that's like March next year.
I feel like you don't hear about that so much anymore. You don't hear about games just
'cause it's ready.
being big, hyped, and then disappearing. I feel like that was much more common like 15 years
don't
ago.
worry, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that like something like Gran Turismo has so many licensing tie-ins that there's It's time sensitive.
Yeah,
And also,
yeah, absolutely.
Don't know.
I mean,
it takes
they
years
don't
for them to
have
get
to.
those games out.
With that kind of game, it seems like clearly they don't actually have to do all that much in order to call it a new game. I mean, we've seen what happened with FIFA.
Yeah.
They've shown quite a lot as well. When they did the state of play in June, I think it was. They showed like when they did the PlayStation 5 announcement, they showed quite a lot of it off then, which makes me think that it's gonna be here.
All right, an Uncharted sequel or Uncharted 5 announced, released, delayed, dismayed.
I think it gets announced this year, but it definitely doesn't release this year.
We'll get an announcement.
Are they going to keep making those?
That's the question.
I think they will. I think Uncharted
big
is
franchise.
It's too big a franchise for.
I thought Uncharted 4 kind of ended it, didn't it? Didn't they make? I didn't play it, but didn't they make Nathan Drake like old and shit or something?
Well, they also did Last Legacy.
Yeah, it depends what we mean by Uncharted 5. Like, is it just a continuation of their story, or is it a new story in the Uncharted world?
A single-player adventure game with the word Uncharted in the title.
There we are.
I think they're going to wait until the film comes out.
That's why I think it's going to get announced this year. Because that's a perfect time.
But it's not coming out this year. No way.
Yeah, not coming out this year.
I think
they'll release the film and then it'll come out like a few months after.
Yeah,
I think dismayed. I don't think we're hearing anything about it. That was just a little bait that I threw in and try and get you all, and it worked.
When it gets announced.
The last PlayStation game, Bloodborne 2.
Haven't they done that already?
Maybe gets announced. I don't particularly know because didn't they just finish making what's it called Demon Souls?
No, that was made by Bluepoint. The remake.
Bluepoint, right, yeah.
Yeah, FromSoft would be
maybe,
but FromSoft are currently making Elden Ring.
I don't know because that came out. Well, actually, then again, that came out 5 years ago. Maybe it gets announced. Maybe, but if it's going to get announced, I don't think it gets announced until the later part of the year. If it's going to get announced at all.
So you think
I don't
announced?
think it's going to... Maybe. Yeah, probably. But,
right.
But again, I think the later part of the year, it's going to be very late.
Dav.
Dismayed. Pure rumour. Not going to happen.
Zach.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I think dismayed.
Ooh, I'm going to go dismayed. Yeah. All right, that's PlayStation done. Now, finally, we can talk about Xbox.
All right, see you guys later.
All right.
Okay, what's happening on Xbox?
These are all games that are coming to Game Pass.
Dav isn't sponsored by Game Pass.
So, know what we need to do?
To be
we
clear.
need to have we need to have
Yeah.
Game Pass mentions at the bottom of Dav's screen.
Yeah.
Just every time it gets mentioned, he goes bing, and he goes one, ding,
And it comes up, it goes world exclusive.
Actually, I got a phone call from someone called Phil something this morning who said he wanted us to do something. I told him to go fuck himself. I hope that was okay.
Well, tell him to go fuck himself about Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Released, delayed, dismayed.
that gets released in November because it's 20 years since Halo 1 came out.
That's a good point.
Dav?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it'll get released exactly 20 years after, and they'll
November.
do some big thing.
November came out on the Xbox. It's 100% coming out in November or around
I
then.
really hope it doesn't get delayed again. I'm going to say released.
I think, but it might end up coming out not looking so good as a result if they end up on that kind of crunch.
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you and the rest of the Halo fans. Most people gave up in Halo 4.
All two of them.
Yay!
It's you two.
Hellblade 2.
Not this year. No, that does not. No, we don't see that this year.
Ooh, dismayed. Dav.
I don't know enough about Hellblade to know where it's at.
Oh, Dav.
It's
you need
coming
to play that
out.
game. Get some headphones and play that game. Zach thinks released.
I'm
going to
I'm
go...
certain it's coming out this year.
I think a date will get announced, but I think it'll be February 2022.
Yeah,
Could be. I think it's going to be a holiday.
I think it's going to be next year. But
I
quite
think they'll announce
early
it
on.
like buy an Xbox because in a couple of months you'll play Hellblade.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'm going to say, is that dismayed? I guess yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Or announced on there. Avowed. Now, if you don't remember what Avowed is, that's the fantasy RPG Skyrim like Fable-like game made by the same studio that makes Hellblade. No, made by Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah, it was Obsidian.
They made The Outer Worlds and Fallout New Vegas.
Oh.
Did it get a release date? Did it get
No.
a release date? It didn't get a release date. I don't think it makes this year. I think I don't think it makes this year purely because I think Elder Scrolls 6 might make this year.
Well, and they're both Xbox games.
And they're both Xbox, and I think because Microsoft are going to be in charge of them both, I don't know if they'll want to put them up against each other, especially considering Elder Scrolls 6 is going to just...
All right,
gonna, yeah.
They
I mean,
might, though.
you might come
on
to
the list, but we'll do that one next.
Yeah.
Avowed, Dav, announced.
I've never heard of this game. But when was Obsidian's last game, and what was it?
That was
The Outer Worlds,
Outer Worlds.
and they did an expansion as well earlier this year. But and Grounded.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say delayed then. I don't think...
Delayed means that you think it's going to get an announcement of a release date, and then it'll get delayed.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right.
Just gambling man.
Weirdly, I think they could bring it out against the Elder Scrolls thing, because that is a big thing in all media, to put two very similar things so that there's competition, there comes a bit of a flame war, this one's better than that one, it gets a bit of hype around it. I don't think that will happen in this case, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I don't think it's coming out this year. We haven't seen enough of it. It's early stages. I mean, I don't think we've seen any gameplay. We've seen the hands, right?
The arrow flying through the sky and hitting the skeleton.
Nah. Unless we're seeing gameplay, it's not coming out this year.
No.
Okay, I'm going to say announced. I think they'll announce a release date. I think 2022 is going to be fucking huge.
Oh, no,
for
you're
Xbox.
right. No, they'll announce it. I definitely think they'll announce it this year.
Okay, so you've got announced. All right. So I don't have Fable on the list. I don't have Elder Scrolls either, though. So we'll just smash through Elder Scrolls 6. Anyone think Elder Scrolls 6 is getting a releance date?
I think it's more likely to get a release date than Avowed. I agree. I also think Starfield is more likely to come out this year.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Even though I just said that, like, Elder Scrolls 6
or Elder Scrolls 6. What do you think is getting announced release date first?
Starfield.
Do you think Starfield, Dav?
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls.
Zach?
Is Starfield, is that like the Mass Effect crowd or not?
The Mass Effect made by Bethesda.
Made by Bethesda, yeah.
Right. I don't think either of them are getting announced this year.
Oh.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure Elder Scrolls 6 is never happening. I'm pretty sure that's how long have they been talking about it for?
A long time.
I think I was still in university when they first mentioned it. I'm not joking. Like that.
It's been 7 years. Well, 8 years since the last one.
You know
when
what?
When did they start talking about the next one?
Oh, it's 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
say
Elder Scrolls gets an announcement before Starfield.
Can I also add something as well?
Yeah.
But this is just to tag it on. I was going to mention this later, but this is specifically to Bethesda. I also think that Starfield is when Bethesda signs their deal with Microsoft, I feel like it will be a timed exclusive for the Xbox. So the PlayStation version will not come out until 2022. I
don't think there is a PlayStation version.
I think there has to be, because they signed a contract with them, and they can't take that away unless they pay PlayStation millions, and it's just not worth it. I think there has to be, because it is technically still coming out. In fact, they are still working on it until they sign the contract with Microsoft, and they're not actually signing the contract with Microsoft until June this year. So I think it's June.
Also,
anyway.
I just played Skyrim Fridge Freezer Edition. Okay, you can play it on literally anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out anywhere except for Xbox and PC, but that's my opinion. We won't find that out in the next year. Forza Motorsport. Announced, released, delayed, dismayed.
I think that gets released this year.
Is it Dav?
I'll preface that with, don't really give a shit.
Why is Forza getting all the shit? You didn't say that about Gran Turismo.
No, we all thought it, though.
Okay. Right.
It's fine.
It's true. I don't care about car games, man.
No. Give me a Gran Turismo over Forza anyway. But yeah, release it. We need no more big franchise titles this year, and I think there's going to be a big push for them.
Zach.
Yeah, that's coming out this year, I'm pretty sure. Because, fuck, they'll have had the console out for a year come Christmas. So
Yeah, that's true.
they'll have to have something. Even if it is just cars.
Halo! I'm going to say... delayed. I think it'll get an announcement of a release date and then it'll get delayed.
Yeah, that's possible.
But probably still come out this year. All right, here's one. Dav, you're going to care a lot more about this one, but we're going to ask Johnny first. Banjo-Kazooie.
No.
Who put that on the table?
I don't think Banjo-Kazooie's... no.
Is that getting announced?
No, I don't think it's going to be a thing. I think...
So dismayed.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even in Microsoft's mind to make a new one. I think the most likely console that Banjo will be on new will be the Switch with the Rare Replay. I think that's more likely.
The other thing is, I actually think that even the people who say they want a Banjo maybe don't as much as they think they do.
They want a Banjo, they just don't know what game they want.
Yeah, Grant Kirkhope was I think the other day there was rumors when Grant Kirkhope was saying, I wish someone would make it, and then Platonic were like, me, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a thing, sadly, because I would love it if it was true, but I don't think it's a thing.
I think if Yooka-Laylee had been received better, maybe, but it seems like people weren't really bothered about that either.
So you think dismayed, Johnny?
Yeah.
Dav, come on.
Yeah, we're announcing that. Brave New World, people.
Good.
Make platformers great again.
Get that on a red hat.
Oh my god.
Zach.
Oh dear. Nah, it's not coming out. It's not even getting... It's never happening.
I'm going to say announced, Dav. I believe. I'm a believer.
Oh, come on.
And
be fun.
Double whammy for Dav here. Conquer. Johnny, what do you reckon? A new Conquer game.
No.
Believe.
No, it's not so much about believe. I would like it. Are we talking about predictions? Or are we talking about wishes? Because they're two different things, and I don't think that they would do that because they'd have to get Rare to do it, and Rare don't. Sadly, I don't think so. No.
All right, Dav.
It does feel like we are... like the zeitgeist of cartoony platform adventure games is well and truly past and doesn't seem to be coming back apart from in the indie realm. So, but oh my god, how cool would a new Conquer be? I'm staying with the optimism. I'm saying announce.
Yeah, baby.
Come on, people.
Zach.
It's a really specific sense of humor, which I don't think even exists really in the same way. I mean, no.
Singing
you would never write "I am the great and mighty Pooh." You just wouldn't write it. You just wouldn't think to. It's a different era, man.
Yeah,
things have moved on.
Yeah, it's
you
made
have to really rework it to the point where it probably wouldn't feel like a Conquer game.
It's a game made from an era where bottom was huge. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's a very that kind of, and also a very British comedy of the sort of late 20th century sort of feel.
Yeah. It didn't sell very well. That's the problem.
That's
didn't,
true.
When it first came out, it didn't sell. Sorry, I'm jumping on Zach's now.
Classic.
Well, I'm also going to say dismayed, but I'm loving Dav's getting involved.
Yeah.
Right, Nintendo. Metroid Prime 4.
There's no way that makes this year. It might get an announcement for next year because it is, and this is something I want to talk about later. It is the 35th anniversary for Metroid. But I think what's more likely is the trilogy will get announced and released this year, and then maybe they'll say Metroid Prime 4 coming in the next 5 years, maybe. Who
I think
knows?
It's going to be 2024.
Yeah, I think maybe it can make the end of next year, but definitely doesn't make this year.
All right, Dav.
I'm saying announce because... you know how we were saying we haven't had a proper Nintendo Direct in ages? I think there's going to be a lot kind of primed. I think there's going to be...
That's true. It has been some time.
We are waiting for very primed.
There's going to be...
to the power of 4. Yeah, I just think there's going to be a lot of Nintendo announcements this year.
Yeah, agreed.
Zach.
Nah, I mean it might get announced, but it's not. It's not coming out this year.
All right, I'm going to say released.
Wow.
Bold.
Someone's
Very
got
bold.
to believe.
Yeah, someone's got to have the faith.
I think they're going to do a Direct in June. and they're going to be like, yo, Trilogy, that's out right now.
Yeah, the Trilogy.
And Prime 4, don't worry, that's coming out in November.
To be fair, Nintendo Directs, they sometimes do just do that. They are just symbolize like, whatever, we made a game. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, they don't always do such a big build-up for, like, you know...
They're the Beyonce of the video games.
Yeah, they're okay with just dropping a track or two.
How long have they had? They've had I think there's either 2 or 3 years since they switched development. But the problem is that Retro Studios is still looking for game director. Like, they're still looking for stuff like game director, art director, all that kind of stuff, which you kind of feel like is really important to a game. I wish it was, because I'm desperate to play some Metroid, but no.
Not as desperate as you are to play the Breath of the Wild sequel.
That comes out this year, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am utterly convinced. Again, 35th anniversary of Zelda, which we might talk about later. That definitely comes out this year.
Dav.
Yeah, release.
Zach.
It could be. I think it could be early 2022. It could be a sort of because didn't they do that for what was Breath of the Wild? That was March. Huh?
March 3rd. Yeah.
Could be March. Could be March 2022.
We're going dismayed from Zach. I'm gonna go with released. I think they've got to get that done.
I think so.
Here's one. Here's a fan favorite. The new Pokemon Snap.
I think that could come out in. So again, we're going to talk about this later because again, it's the Pokemon's. I think it's like Pokemon's 30th or something like that. No, I think it's their 35th. It's their 35th as well. Pokemon's 35th as well.
96.
No,
so then 25th. Years. Sorry. Yeah, it's 96. Yeah, 25th.
Yeah, where was it? I had something earlier.
It's 25th because it was 96.
There we are. So I've got a feeling they're going to release a lot of Pokemon stuff over the course of the year. I think Snap's going to come. Snap looked done, like when we saw the direct last year.
It could be a really good summer release.
I was going to say,
a really fun game to be sitting and playing in the summer, right?
Give me that in July.
Late spring, early summer. I definitely think that is what they're aiming for. I don't think it'll be an October game because I think there's going to be a remake of a Pokemon game in October. So
this is all, by the way, assuming that the world doesn't implode.
Oh yeah,
so
we'll never actually find out whether we're right.
This is just a thought experiment. Dav, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
Good.
Can I also tag something onto mine as well? Yeah, and maybe I think that's going to sell at least 10 million very easily.
Could do.
I think it's going to
depends on It depends on the state of the world as well, because seemingly
you can't leave your house.
What does it say? But
Pokemon
seemingly
Snap is
Animal
30
Crossing
million
had a
on
big
day one.
And also I think probably Pokemon Snap will have a certain sort of social media functionality. There'll be some Animal Crossing. I don't think that's a bad thing for that game because it's not.
Whenever you take a picture with it, you can use Pokemon Smile to make sure you haven't got anything.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It might be a bad thing. They might make it dull and frustrating, but it could just be, just like online functionality. I think that would be a cool thing. And I think, maybe June. I think that could definitely come out June.
I think released as well. Yeah, perfect. All right, a mainline Pokemon remake.
Oh yeah, October. Is it? Which is, I don't know anything about Pokemon really.
The next one they need to do is
Ruby Sapphire is the one I've seen lots of people saying that there's rumors about it.
No. They've done Ruby Sapphire.
Diamond Pearl.
Diamond Pearl. There we are. That's the one.
It's either that or it's Let's Go Togepi.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a remake of whether it's a Let's Go or whether it's like a proper remake. I don't know because again I don't know much about Pokemon, but I think there's going to be one in October. Just because it's Pokemon and they do it often.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, that's how they do it. So yeah. I mean, I think in the same way that Nintendo specifically always try and make sure there's a Zelda game that comes out every single year. It's the same with Pokemon. I think they're just going to try and make sure there's a Pokemon game. Considering it's the anniversary, I think that's
Dav.
No announcement. No. Dismayed. Absolutely. I mean, if there's going to be a Pokemon game, it's going to be Snap. As far as I'm concerned, and
the MOBA on mobile.
Oh god,
yeah,
they got that MOBA, haven't they?
Yeah,
but I forgot about that.
But I think they're all going to be kind of secondary games. I'd put more money on there being a Pokemon Stadium.
Ooh. Or
That's
Pokemon 2.
that is a really interesting prediction. I would love for them to do a Pokemon Stadium. But bearing in mind, they didn't even put all the fucking Pokemon in the last game. Jesus.
Yeah.
There's quite a few in there.
Yeah.
There's enough. There's enough.
There's,
There's over 400.
you know,
There's a shit in the Pokemon.
There might be
I know, but Jesus.
There might be a Pokemon 2 as well. That might be something that they blew up because that was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Can't they just? I mean, would there be any benefit? Wouldn't it just be easier to just do DLC for the last one?
It's been
just give you more
You'd
fighters.
ramp up that hype cycle with the sequel, though. And there's only like 12 Pokemon in that first one.
Yeah, it's not many.
True.
It's not many.
But then how many are they going to do? I mean, geez.
400, Zach. Mainline Pokemon remake.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing it. I was just thinking, they've been doing it since Gen 3, so they've already remade a generation that was in of itself remaking a previous generation. Yeah. I think it's coming out this year.
I'm going dismayed. I'm going dismayed with Dav. I think we're not seeing that. So there. So, Next Level Games, purchased by Nintendo. Mario Strikers. Are we seeing a sequel this year?
No, we're more likely to see Mario Golf because it's been longer, I think. Or I think we're more likely to see a golf game.
It hasn't been longer.
Well,
Strikers is ages ago, man.
No, well, there was the one on the Wii as well.
That was like 2008, though, I think.
But there was a golf on the 3DS.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like on a main home console. Either way, I think there's more likely to be a golf than. I mean, I would love a Strikers. Those games are awesome, but I think there's more likely to be. There's going to be a Mario sports game because they've done tennis and they make them all the time. I think it's more likely to be golf though.
I'd love a Mario golf game.
Yes, please.
Dav, football, Strikers, charged.
Not happening. No, dismayed.
Oof, Zach.
I think it could get announced. Actually,
I'd love it.
People love that game. We've had a lot of golf over the years, I believe. Yeah, I think it could happen. I also wanted to do Mario Hoops or whatever it was called, the basketball one. That was super fun too.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to go with dismayed with Dav. The last one, and there is a bonus point available. Mario Kart 9, bonus point if you say Star Fox is playable.
Oh no!
So there was an interview the other day that said that Mario Kart with one of the producers from Nintendo that said that there's going to be updates to Mario Kart 8. I don't think there's going to be Mario Kart 9 this year. Maybe it'll get announced, but it definitely won't release. Mario Kart 8's still selling too well. Nah, dismayed. I think I think there's more chance of Mario Kart 8 getting updates than Mario Kart 9 coming out or even being announced, because until that game starts drying up sales, Mario Kart 9 sold more copies in the UK this year than last year.
8.
That's
crazy. 8. Sorry, yeah, 8. It sold more.
How long has it been out for?
That's what I mean. Well, why would they bring out a 9?
years.
Why would they do if sales are still soaring? If sales are still going
that's
through
a
the
good
roof?
point.
Johnny, specific for you, Star Fox from Mario Kart 8?
No. That I mean, if he was in Mario Kart, I think he could. He has a shot of being in Mario Kart 9 because I think they've already started bringing characters into Mario Kart that aren't in the Mario Kart world, which is like Link and Isabelle.
So why not Star Fox?
No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe in 9, but not in 8.
Yeah, I think I agree
I thought
with
you
that.
said they were updating 8.
No, they are, but I think it's more likely to be tracks.
Right, okay.
Just like I don't think there'll be extra races.
All right, Dav.
Definitely not Star Fox because Nintendo hates Star Fox.
Dismayed, same reasons as Johnny. It's still going way too strong. Still fighting really hard for a really old game.
I thought I was going to get you with this one. No. Zach.
Yeah, I mean same reasons, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it for them. It just doesn't seem like they'd be. I mean,
well, you know
the
what?
main thing is,
Released.
I was going to say, but what do you do? What do you do with Mario Kart 9? How do you make Mario Kart 9 better than Mario Kart 8?
You don't. You make a lot of money on it.
I
Mario
what's the
Kart
point
9
then?
released.
I mean, all
coming out with a Switch Pro. Let's go.
But all the sequels have always been like, all right, it's Mario 64 from the SNES one. It's like, right, well, it's sort of vaguely 3D, and then you get to Double Dash, and it's like, okay, no, it actually is 3D. And then with the Wii, it's like, all right, it maybe looks better. It doesn't. But you have motion controls, so fine, okay, we'll get the Wii one. And then when you get to the Wii U, they go, okay, well now it actually looks like
HD
someone like they hired an artist. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I love this game.
No, but it's stuff like going upside.
It looks a bit nicer, but now it's in HD.
Hey.
What's the point?
Mario Kart 9, it's going to have all the tracks from all the courses, plus it's going to have double dash playability, so you can play with 2 people on each car.
That's actually
and Star Fox is going to be playable. Bonus point. Let's go.
That's probably roughly true. Actually, just having just do what they did with Smash Brothers.
I think Zach. I think what you're saying is it's a really good point. Like, where do they go from? How do they improve on 8 when 8 is the best in the series? If I'm being completely honest,
It's like I don't see a new Smash coming out for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Where
do they go from there?
Ultimate means ultimate, people.
Yeah,
Everyone is here. Like, who else can we add?
That's another.
You can't
thing.
have Ultimate 2.
When they told me that, I remember. Well, when they told me that, they came up to me. He was like, "No." When I saw that, though, I was like, "That seems risky because that's great now, but what do you do in 10 years' time when you have to do another one?" And
but I think with 9, I think if 9 comes out, if 9 comes out, but I imagine 9 might be announced next year. I would more likely say next year, but I think what they'll probably just end up doing is probably going on the Smash Ultimate route and just adding loads of characters. So maybe that's when we'll start. I'd love to see Fox in it. That'd be awesome. I don't know.
Well, let's not talk about Nintendo anymore. Let's go to our favourite developer and publisher, EA.
Yay!
Right, I'm going to start off with an easy one. Mass Effect.
I thought you were going to say FIFA. Yes, FIFA's coming out this year.
Definitely happening.
No, dismayed.
No, Mass Effect's definitely coming out this year. I don't think that gets delayed. I think that's coming out this year, 100%.
No, not the trilogy.
Oh, sorry. I think with the.
No, Johnny, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the trilogy. I was going to say. Oh no, then the new game. Maybe it gets. No, I don't think so. I think we might see more of it, but I don't know if we'll get a release date because it's only just been announced. I don't think we'll get a release date. We just might see more of it. That's all.
All right, Dav.
Announced. If they're clever, I think they'll whet people's appetite with the trilogy and then go, hey, guess what, guys? Date.
Wow.
I hope they do it like that as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to get announced.
You think it'll get a date announced?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going dismayed. I don't think it's anywhere near that ready.
Will that stop them? That's my concern. I mean, it seemes like they don't give a shit.
They don't. They never do. They never have. Dragon Age 4.
Didn't it just got a new trailer? I think that might get it didn't get a date announced, did it?
No.
I think we'll get a date this year, but I don't think it'll come out this year. Or maybe it'll come out this year, but I think we'll definitely get a date. I think this year we'll definitely get a date. I don't know. Yeah. I can't say whether there's going to be a release this year.
Dav.
Announced. There's going to be. It's been a while since we've heard any Dragon Age stuff. 2015
was the last time the game.
Yeah.
Only proper.
I think we'll have
Dragon
something
Age
announced.
Stuff. All right.
Lots of stuff been cooking.
Zach.
Maybe we'll see some. Have we seen the gameplay from it yet?
No, not really.
Not really gameplay.
Maybe we'll see some gameplay.
A date?
No, I don't think we're getting a date.
Okay. I'm gonna say announced, but not for 2021.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Are we gonna see the overhaul of Anthem this year?
I'd forgotten about Anthem. I don't. I think that's lost. I think that's done. No one's gonna go back to it. I mean, I'd be surprised. I mean, yeah, no. I think maybe they'll try and fix it, but well, it's been like 3 years now. Has it been out 3 years? 2 years? That's so
2
long.
years.
There's too long for, especially when other games will be coming out from BioWare as well. No. I think maybe they'll try and fix it, but I just think it's too late. I think that game's too late.
Dav.
Dismay. Yeah, it's gone.
Zach.
What's the state of it right now?
I mean, I'm not even sure they've taken the Christmas lights down from the 2019 event.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to touch it. Like, I don't think they're going to bother with it.
I'm going to say announced. I think they're going to announce a thing for like January. And then it's still going to be garbage. All right, Burnout.
A new Burnout? I think. I don't know.
Paradise remaster a couple of years.
Are we talking about remaster? Are we
No.
including remasters, or
No.
are we like a brand new game, new content?
Burnout. They're buying a bunch of racing studios.
Maybe, yeah. Well, they've stole Codemasters from what's it called?
Take-Two.
2K. There you go, Take-Two. I think maybe they'll be one announced, but I don't think it gets released. I don't think it gets released.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be announced.
I'm going to say release. Shock release. It's going to be like, Burnout, guys.
Zach.
I think it could be the sort of thing we could see at Video Game Awards or something.
Oh, like a trailer.
A little bit of a taste of it. Don't think we'll get a release announcement. So yeah, maybe the following year.
All right. Okay. I think it will get dismayed. I don't think we're hearing anything about it this year, but I think that they're going to buy these racing studios and be like, "Yo, you, Burnout," and or they'll take whatever project that Criterion's working on, shift that onto Codemasters, and then be like, "Criterion, fine, make a bloody Burnout game." All right, that's enough EA. I think. Let's go to Ubisoft. Skull and Bones.
That's still.
That's a game. That's a game that people are making right now.
Yeah. But
I don't even remember anything.
I
about
don't know.
that.
I'm surprised that game still hasn't come out, considering isn't Skull and Bones basically what they wanted to do with Assassin's Creed, like the pirating
So
stuff?
Skull and Bones is like pirates on boats, and it's all the boat stuff from like Assassin's Creed 4. But they're now adding stuff to it. They're adding like a campaign to it.
Do you know? I don't know enough about Skull and Bones beyond it's just maybe they'll announce it this year. I mean, to be fair, Ubisoft's games don't really get. Ubisoft tend to really. In fact, Ubisoft are more likely to push games than delay games. So yeah, maybe it'll come out this year.
It says it's coming out in March.
Oh, there we are.
I'm not buying that for a second. Dav.
The game or the.
Very much both.
Well, based on your reaction, Dav, I'm going to say delayed.
Zach.
No, I think it could come out in March. It won't be good or polished or anything, but
Ubisoft.
There be Ubisoft. I mean, in fact, I'm probably for all of Ubisoft. I'm just going to say they're all coming out exactly when they say they're done.
Yeah,
unfinished.
I think delayed. I think they've kind of learnt the error of their ways in the last couple of years, and they've started to sort their shit out as far as like releasing crap games. To
be fair, they did just postpone Far Cry, didn't they?
Yeah,
they did postpone that.
And Quarantine, and something else. Watch Dogs got delayed.
A game called Quarantine.
Oh god,
mate, we'll get into that.
If it's not sitting in your underwear playing video games, it's not Quarantine, okay?
Yeah, but delayed, I think. Skull and Bones. Next, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, see, we got when we get a trailer. That was early last year.
2019,
right?
I think.
I was going to say it was a while ago.
Man.
I think we'll get. Does it have a release date?
No.
Okay, if it doesn't have a release date, then maybe it could be announced. It could be released this year, but I think it's more likely they'll get a date. I don't know when that date could be next year. Yeah, I think we could get a date though.
Okay, Dav.
Yes, I don't. I think we'll get an announcement, and that's it. Yes.
Zach.
I think it might be. If any game is dead in the water, I think it's Beyond Good and Evil. I think it might never come out.
Isn't that the one that we talked about it recently with the director was being horrific?
Yeah.
And he left halfway.
Wasn't as nice as we thought he was.
Yeah. We were all just like, I hope he has a great retirement. And he came out, he was this truly horrific person, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Zach, what are you saying? Dismayed?
No. I think it's dismayed.
I think it's released. I think it's coming out in November.
Wow.
I'm coming out.
All right. We said it before. Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Oh, it's a Rainbow Six game. I just thought it was Quarantine. I thought that was the game. They release Rainbow Six games all the time. That's
Quarantine.
I think so, yeah. Ubisoft clearly don't... I don't think they're very self-aware. They're not a very self-aware company.
Yeah, they're not self-aware, but they did change the name of Immortals Phoenix Rising from
they did, yeah.
Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
So they're not against a name change.
That is true.
Why did they change it?
Because Gods and Monsters sounds crap.
No, I think there was. Immortals Phoenix Rising is worse. That's the problem.
I think it's worse. But Gods and Monsters, there was a film, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was something. Yeah. I think they were being sued, or they'd had a notice to be like, change the name, or you're gonna get sued.
I have to be honest. The title of, I can't even remember, Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah,
I think it's actually part of the reason I don't want it. It sounds junky. I don't
Apparently
know. There's something about it.
Apparently, it's alright.
It's supposed to be great.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fine.
People like it, but it just sounds
totally agree.
bad.
It sounds like a bad game.
Yeah.
The name makes it sound like a bad game.
Right. So Johnny, Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Oh yeah, I think that comes out this year. Maybe 11 name change, but I think that comes out this year.
Dab.
Yeah, release.
Zach.
You know what? I don't even think they'll do a name change. I think they'll just release it and just go like, whatever.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
We made loads of Assassin's Creed games. We don't care anymore.
I'm gonna say it just won't get spoken about for ages, and then it'll just get released without anyone like noticing.
Yeah.
Any ideas for what a name change might be?
Rainbow Six Lockdown. No, wait, that's just as bad.
Yeah. Rainbow Six COVID. Maybe Rainbow Six Hunt for the Vaccine. Let's go.
How about Rainbow 6 out of 7?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Last Ubisoft game, and then we've got one more publisher. A Nintendo crossover a la Mario plus Rabbids or Starlink.
Is it David Soliani? Is that his name?
Maybe.
I think that's his name. I love him, by the way, because Mario Rabbids is one of my favorite games.
So good.
I think there could be a Mario. Do you know what? Did you play the Donkey Kong expansion?
Yeah,
that was wicked. That
it was amazing.
I think there's a big chance there could be another game. I think Mario Rabbids did way too well for Nintendo to not go have another crack at it. I think there could at least be an announcement. There could possibly even be a release because we haven't heard anything from them because it came out in 2017. It's been 3 years. I don't think that one of those games is going to take longer than like 3 years to make because I think they only started making it like 2015. I think that could get announced and released this year, but I just don't know what it is. I think that relationship works too well. I think maybe they could be like maybe they could work on a Mario RPG, like because I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I think they definitely would work together again though.
Dav.
Yeah, I really like the idea of that, and I think that will be, as I said, in the big plethora of announcements that Nintendo have lined up for us. A big
Announced. Zach.
I'm gonna say delayed.
Do you think it'll get announced and then pushed back?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say dismayed. I don't think it's happening. Not this year.
No.
And our last publisher is Take-Two. GTA 6.
That might get announced, but there's no way it's coming out this year. I'm not even sure. Like maybe I think their focus is still on GTA 5. They're still working on releasing.
How is that happening? How is GTA 5 coming out on another fucking console?
Because they make. I mean, we've spoken previously about how much money that game makes and how many copies it still sells. If anything is likely to happen, it will get announced, but it'll be at the end of the year after they've released GTA 5 again. But it's definitely not coming out this year.
Dav.
Yeah, dismayed. Not happening. Not for a while.
Zach.
I'm gonna say it's gonna come out. I don't care. Why not?
I don't care.
I might as well have one wild card.
Guys, Zach's
put it all on black.
Wild card, bitches.
I think they'll do a little trailer for it, but I don't think they'll get an announcement of a date. So dismayed.
With announcement, because it hasn't even really officially been announced, has it? Because there's no. I mean, so there might even be an announcement just saying that it's a thing.
Yeah.
And like
you
said,
they've said it's in development.
Okay. Oh, maybe that counts then. Maybe officially, I agree with you. Maybe it'll just be officially GTA because we haven't even seen like a GTA 6.
Yeah.
Like what might happen actually, if I just go back very quickly, is there might be a GTA 6 and then they'll show you where the location is, but that's it. Maybe they'll say
the whole world.
the whole world. Las Vegas would be fun, but
The next one, an untitled NFL game. So Take-Two has spoken about they've got a deal with the National Football League of an arcadey NFL game, but that's all they've said. So do we think that's coming out this year? Do you think that they're going to try and finally capitalise on how shocking Madden's been the last 2 years?
So they have rights. They have
an agreement with the NFL.
With the NFL, that changes things. The problem is, it's one of those weird things where they've got no experience of making an NFL game, and I feel like
2K used to do NFL games, but it's going to be an arcadey one.
I mean, I don't really know much about it, so maybe announced, but yeah.
Dav.
Yeah, they'll announce if they've negotiated the option for it. I think they absolutely are going to capitalize on it.
Zach.
Yeah, I think that could come out in sort of October, November time.
And me, I'm gonna say, yeah, I think released. I think it'll be announced and
Sorry,
released.
just me. I just thought I was
me.
Thanks, Dav. Cheers.
Anytime. Okay, there's a stipulation with this one. A WWE 2K game, but it must have over 75 on Metacritic.
No.
Will that happen?
Do they get Metacritic
Battlegrounds? Is Battlegrounds the last one, wasn't it? And it was apparently shit. And the one before that was shit. And the one before that
the
was shit.
reason why Battlegrounds came out is because the 2K before it was so bad they ended up changing studios. They gave it to someone else, and all they were able to do in a year was make Battlegrounds. And so they're doing a whole new engine. So it's going to be a whole new 2K game.
Can I just say? Maybe, but I am actually more excited about AEW working with Ukes, because AEW are working with the people that made No Mercy, and I am here for that. Yeah, maybe. I think that the issue isn't so much whether it'll come out. The issue is whether it'll break that fucking 75 Metacritic score, because the recent ones have not done very well. The one on the Switch was apparently like unplayable.
Yeah.
So I guess if we maybe
the Switch version has to get a 75 on Metacritic.
If it's the Switch version, then no, because I'm not even sure it'll come out on the Switch version.
Dav,
like, I know for the people who love wrestling is still cool and all, but I don't think anything's changed in the zeitgeist in recent years.
I know that people like video games. They think, video games are cool.
No, but like wrestling was a huge deal, and therefore the video games were a huge deal. Wrestling, I'm sure, it wouldn't surprise me that at some point wrestling will be really cool again and really pop culture-y, but I just don't think it is.
Royal Rumble soon, Dav.
Yeah, next month.
Royal Rumble, yep, very soon.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I literally watch the Royal Rumble every year.
Yeah, I do as well. I watch the.
But that's cool. Fine, you're fans. Great, but
that's cool. I just think less of you now, so it's fine.
Where's the exit room button?
It's the second time he's come close to leaving Video Games Ahoy.
I just it's nowhere near wrestling. Just isn't as popular as it used to be.
No, I agree. I agree.
And as a result, the games aren't going to be as good.
Things have changed a lot in the last 20 years, and
I believe it's also the way you say it is wrestling as well. I believe
wrestling. Zach?
It's coming out. It's not getting over 75.
I have
Switch users alone are going to be furious.
I'm going to say released. I think they're going to get it's going to be good.
It's going to be a 76.
So good. It's going to be a 75 minimum.
Damn, are you really hankering for a wrestling game? Is that it? Yeah. Okay.
I just want to play SmackDown versus Raw or SmackDown.
No Mercy.
Bring it.
Oh, No Mercy.
The last wrestling game I owned was WCW versus NWO on the
Got it over there. I've got it there. I love it.
All right, guys, one more game, and then we got our big predictions. BioShock. Do we get a BioShock game?
It's been 8 years.
God, has it been 8 years?
Since Infinite.
And it's weird as well because everyone loved Infinite. They fucking loved Infinite.
I mean, it's a well-regarded series. All three games. I mean, the second one is not considered a brilliant, but it's still I was looking at the Metacritic score recently. It was 88. So it's still yeah.
But I'm talking about Infinite specifically. People were it was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. BioShock's interesting because I think the guy Levine, is his name Ken Levine? I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah, there we are. I don't think he's part of.
Levine.
I don't think he's.
Ken
Yeah,
Levine?
yeah.
Ken
I don't know
Levine.
if it's. Yeah, I don't think he's working. If there was going to be another game, I don't think he's there. And like he was a huge part of what made those games. So I don't.
Where do
I
you
don't know.
set it?
I mean, they set the last one
Underwater.
in the sky.
Underwater.
I think they should split the difference. Just have it be set on
On land.
ground.
Yeah, just.
Have it be like a big deal as well. Be like,
Do you know what?
yeah,
We're really, really going to throw everyone
Yeah.
off. It's going to be set on Earth, on land. Oh,
oh, 10 out of 10.
Be able
Brilliant,
to see the
brilliant.
sea and see the sky, but you'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
on the land.
Yeah, of course.
yeah. I don't know actually. Where could be set? In space. They'll just keep going up. End up on
It
Mars.
has to be
for
set
next
somewhere
time.
cool. I mean, I
It'll
think
be
they probably
underwater.
they'll just go
It'll
back to
be
Rapture.
underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably do. If I was
Prequel.
going to pitch it, like what I think they would do, I would say they'll do Rapture as a prequel to Bioshock One. Yeah.
That's what I reckon.
That'd be the easiest thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Gives you a perfect excuse to be back there,
Yeah. Everyone loved Rapture. Rapture's.
and it's all like
such
you
a-
can
it is
give
a
little
great
winks
location.
and nods to the first game. Be like, remember this thing, and you'll be like, no, I didn't play it.
You'll see like Big Daddy's getting like created for the first time.
Yeah. You'll see the people who get turned into them or whatever. I don't know what the lore is, but I'm guessing.
Would you
that's-
kindly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't think it's coming out, and I don't think we'll get anything of that for a few years. Even, I mean, maybe they'll do it on an anniversary. When was the first one out?
2007.
2007. Yeah.
2007.
Right, so they could. Well, they kind of
It'd
missed
be
their
14
first
years, it'd be
opportunity. I guess they could do the 15th
15
anniversary.
tomorrow. Tomorrow next year, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
15 years next year.
What a
So
coincidence!
I think it could get announced, but it definitely won't get released.
I think announced. Zav, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
No, this me.
Dismayed. Zach?
Dismay. It's not coming out this year or get anything this year.
All right. Well, that's the list of games that I had for our predictions, which means we've got one thing left, and that's big old predictions, baby. With an apostrophe instead of a D in the word old. Big old predictions.
Big ol'.
Oh, big old predictions.
I actually came
they got
up
some doggone big old predictions.
I actually came up with another prediction while we were doing this.
Oh, I've got loads.
Now
I've
I
literally got
see.
12. So
Come on, Johnny. Johnny, you get started.
Should I go? I'll go through all of the ones that I've written down because I've got quite a
Okay.
few. Okay. The
Wait,
Zelda.
wait. Let's everyone else go in case they overlap.
Okay. Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
everyone else's in your
okay.
12.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
okay.
think he's going to overlap with me.
I don't think anyone's going to overlap with you. Dav.
I hope
Right.
it's the
I'll give you
Dreamcast 2.
my semi-sensible suggestion first.
Okay.
Right. I think Nintendo are going to announce an Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright,
that could
give
happen.
me more. Give me more.
Okay, so like
Tell me more.
I
tell me
didn't.
more.
I didn't think we'd get to the place where like Nintendo would have direct sequels like going forward. But then Galaxy did Galaxy 2, and I just think there's going to be that like Odyssey had a lot of potential. I think because I just think they're going to monopolize on that, and it'll be something Switch Pro-y.
I agree. I think they didn't do any DLC for Odyssey, which is crazy when you think about it. It would have been so easy to have done that. But yeah.
But Nintendo really don't do DLC or Mario games.
Not Mario games, yeah. Mario
Not
games,
particularly,
yeah.
No.
But then there's only been Odyssey in sort of the era of DLC. I mean, Galaxy 1 and 2 are pre-DLC era,
Well, exactly.
sort
But
of.
I don't know. It just
Yeah,
doesn't
sort
seem
of,
to.
yeah.
At least for Nintendo. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, they came to it late. They come to DLCs late.
Okay, now my bonkers out there thing is like Nintendo have heard everybody's cries of you need to be better at internet stuff, and then they're going to go super ambitious and do a Mario World MMO.
Oh my god, could you imagine that? That'd be amazing!
Everyone is Mario.
Well, no, everyone plays as their like Wii figures.
The Mii's.
Oh,
They're- yeah, they're gonna bring these, and you get to play as your Mii in a Mario World, and you gotta help all your favorite Mario World people
I love
do
that.
raids and
Wow.
adventures and all that shit. It's super ambitious, and I am putting all my chips.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it.
This time next year, when we watch this back,
Yeah.
we are going to feel so stupid for doubting Dad.
Nostradafmus.
Yay!
I love that.
So, booyah. That is my absolutely outrageous claim.
That's also Zach's?
Yeah, you got it. You nailed it. That's why I thought no one would ever pick
10
the
of
same one.
Johnny's.
There you go. A Nintendo, MMO.
Wow. Zach, what you got?
The one that I came up with during the stream, it occurred to me, WarioWare. They're going to do WarioWare.
Absolutely.
That's definitely happening. They're going to announce it in a Nintendo Direct, and it'll come out maybe the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year.
Yes.
We have not seen much of Wario. This on the Switch.
Wario, and I think it's a good idea for a Switch game.
Give me some stuff about WarioWare.
It'll be a bit of.
He wears yellow, doesn't he?
It'll be a mix of probably the stuff that they've done with the Wii version and some of like the. I don't think they'll bring anything back, but it'll be a lot of the same ideas. Basically, same ideas, new lick of paint. Same as WarioWare basically always is. No explicit gimmick, because obviously nowadays Switch kind of has all the gimmicks, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it'll do about as well as Mario Party, whatever number we're on right now, in so much as it's the next one in the series. It's nice, it's fine, it's the same thing, new lick of paint. And very little effort for them. I mean, Jesus, those little mini games are all fucking little 2D animations.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. My big one that I think could totally happen, maybe. Reggie Fils-Aimé. I even checked the pronunciation because I was like, I don't know how to say this right. I think Reggie Fils-Aimé is going to become a politician, an American politician. I think he's going to go into American politics. And he had something about he made a point of saying that he's not going to go into politics not so long ago, like after he left Nintendo of America. But he did have a little moment where he was defending video game violence, basically, on Twitter. I was going to say I think he might end up being kind of a jerk in American politics and ending up maybe being a little bit more right-wing than we might have expected or liked him to be. But having done a little bit of reading on him, I don't think that's especially true. I don't think he'll be I don't think he'll be left by my standards or even English standards, you know, British politics standards. He'll be very left by American politics standards.
Communist.
Yeah, I mean, all he'll be saying is like, maybe we shouldn't just kill poor people.
Yeah. Well, he's got the game of
He may end up as a what do you call him, a congressman? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The one that who is it that represents a state in the US?
Senator.
Senator. I think he could be gunning for a senator position over the next 5 years.
Wow.
That is, I definitely
Wouldn't that be fucking fascinating to have the guy who fucking showed you about Mario Kart being like, pay your taxes?
It's a really good point though, because he's a really eloquent man. Like he's very good at public speaking, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but there will be a lot of gamers who don't vote that would vote.
And he's a businessman, you know. It's not. While we know him as, you know, Nintendo of America, he's worked with a lot of major American companies, and those are the guys that are running the country ultimately. You know, the ones that are making the money, the ones who are running the businesses. He would also have the financial background to be able to put himself into a lobbying position. I think it could totally happen.
Zach, I love how off the wall that prediction is. I love it. You
guys were never going to come up with the same. That was never going to be a crossover.
That was my first one.
So mine is that Reggie Fils-Aimé will
not
become a porn star. Yeah, that was my other one.
Retire as a porn star.
Yeah. It turns out this whole time he's been a porn star, but we just didn't know.
My body is ready.
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Hey.
My body is ready. Very good. I am gonna go with my prediction, which is that the Nintendo Switch Pro will be announced. No, but it is related to the Nintendo Switch Pro. The Switch Pro will be announced and released. We all know that. But it will launch with Mario Kart 9.
Nah.
in September. And then in October, we'll see Breath of the Wild 2. And then in November, we'll see Pokemon Snap and Xenoblade Chronicles X. And then in December, I haven't decided. I'm going to say Odyssey 2. And that's going to happen. And the Switch is going to continue to be the best-selling console for another 12 months.
Yeah.
Have you got any evidence for any of that?
Nope.
You're getting
these are predictions. These are the predictions.
All I know is that Breath of the Wild 2 has been announced. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're getting shit from the guy that pitched a Mario-themed MMO.
The difference being is you all know I know jack shit about current affairs in video games, and we all know that Davgate definitely follows stuff. I was wondering if he had an insight there that I didn't have.
I was chatting to Miyamoto yesterday, and he said, Dav mate, if I let you into a secret, but don't tell anyone.
I love the idea of Miyamoto calling people mate.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Mia
Do
matey.
Mario Odyssey 2, whatever.
Should get her Mia matey.
To be fair, I there's not much I actually I'd agree. I disagree with like timings, but I actually agree with most of those games coming out. Xenoblade Chronicles X is definitely going to come out on the Switch. Like there's no reason why it shouldn't. Odyssey 2, completely agree with what Dav said earlier that it's coming out, and now with you agreeing and saying that it's going to come out, I think it could come out this year.
Can I switch November, December?
Yeah.
Cool.
Right, we're going to forget about all these. So we're going to have to go back and listen to this podcast.
That's what I plan to do.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with is Mario Kart 9, but that's I wouldn't be bothered if it does come out. I mean, I love Mario Kart.
Well, Johnny, give me your 12 predictions
all right.
then.
So, well, a lot of these, they're not actually that wild, but the Zelda 35th Anniversary Collection, I think that's going to be announced soon. I think there's the three, I don't know what the collection is going to be. Well, the anniversary is in March, I believe. So I think from that point onwards, things will start getting announced. I think Skyward Sword is probably going to come out on its own. Maybe. Okay, so my thought process could be that the old 3D games, as in like the Nintendo 64 ones, will come out in a package. I maybe they'll put Wind Waker and Twilight Princess together in a package, but they could also sell them separately because Nintendo. Skyward Sword, if it comes out, will definitely come out on its own. There's that will not come out with anything else. I don't believe that. I also think there's a high chance we could get a 2D Zelda because is it Grezzo? I think they made Link's Awakening, so they don't actually have anything to do with any of these games. So there's a chance that could happen because it's the year of Zelda and they love Zelda. I also think, like I said, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come out this year. I think there's also going to be a Metroid game outside of the trilogy, but I don't think it's going to be Prime. I think it's either going to be Samus Returns from the 3DS or it's going to be a new 2D Metroid game. I also think
Federation Force?
Yeah, maybe. I also think there's going to be a new DK game because we haven't had one since Tropical Freeze, which is 2014, even though that was ported to the Switch 2017. 2018.
Too.
Well, again, it's the DK's. I think it's DK's 40th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be something to do with DK. Just don't know what. We've said Pokemon. A new Fire Emblem game. Fire Emblem games tend to come out every 2 years. And it's been 2 years since the last one. I think Sony are going to provide some form of new alternative to Game Pass. I know they've already mentioned it, but it's going to come out this year. I don't think it's going to be as good, but it's going to come out. Zach, sadly, this is going to be one for you. I think the PS VR 2 is going to be announced and potentially released. I think that's something Callum said a while back, and I think he's agreeing with that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a trailer for Final Fantasy 7 Part 2, but we're not going to get the game. I think it's going to come. They're going to release the game on Xbox, and then soon after they're going to show parts of the second game.
Wait, what game is that you said?
Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. I think Final Fantasy 16 is going to get a release date. I already said God of War does not make 2020. I've only got 2 left. Microsoft are going to make another acquisition, and it's going to be a Japanese company. It's going to happen this year.
Which one, Sega or Platinum?
Neither. I don't think it's going to be either of those. I don't think it's going to be those two. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be some Japanese company. I don't think it'll be Sega. Sega's way too big. I don't think it'll be Platinum because their relationship is too close to Nintendo. I think if Nintendo got a whiff of Platinum being bought out. Oh, we also haven't said Bayonetta 3. That's probably going to come out in December. I think Breath of the Wild 2 November, Bayonetta 3 December. And that's it.
But which one is your wild one? Or do you want, or do all of them have to come true?
I don't really have I think the wildest one is probably there's going to be more Zelda games than I think. Because I'm saying there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zelda games this year. And that is kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think 5 Zelda games, but yeah.
Separately packaged.
Yeah, I think there's going to be the 3D. I think there's going to be the Majora's Mask Ocarina of Time game bundle. There's going to be the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess game, Skyward Sword game, Breath of the Wild 2, and then a new 2D Zelda.
All right,
and don't forget the Legend of Zelda MMO, which is going to tie into the Mario one.
That was my last one. Yeah. That was my last. The Legend of Zelda. I mean, that would actually be awesome. Let's be honest. That would be amazing. But yeah.
Oh, also not this year, but I was thinking Splatoon 3's got to be coming at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Next year, I reckon.
Yeah, because they've stopped all. They've stopped any services with Splatoon 2.
It's still online, but there's no updates.
Yeah, there's no updates or anything like that. It's just online now, and yeah. I think that's a good show.
I think we've had some nice announcements. I do want to know which Japanese developer you think.
I actually don't know. I just don't think. I think they've made noises about one. I just think it won't be Sega. Sega's too big. I mean,
they're affordable. Xbox can afford them.
They can.
Sega will want to do it.
They can, but Sega are bigger than Bethesda. And like Bethesda costs going to cost $9 billion. They can definitely afford them. They can definitely afford them. But whether
is it worth it? What do you get out of Sega? What are your big IPs?
I mean, they get Sonic, but Sonic's not really being that good for a while.
Sonic Mania, though.
Sonic Mania, yeah, but like the other Sonic games have not been great.
I guess they could make a Sonic Mania again.
Sonic Mania.
Sonic Manias.
Yeah, I don't think it's Sega. I don't think it's
Manias.
Wait.
I mean, I think this is the problem. I think this is the problem with Xbox. Really, like I can't think of a Japanese company because they don't really work with Japanese companies that often, and so I don't know who have they got any ties to at the moment. They have got ties. Yeah, they maybe. Oh,
imagine if they bought Kojima Productions.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be so funny.
I think because they got a good relationship with. Maybe they don't buy
Konami?
it. I was just Konami don't really give a shit. I think Konami's more likely to just say like take our IPs and buy like rent our IPs, make a game. That could happen, but then I think that's more likely they'll be closer to PlayStation than Microsoft because they've got a relationship.
Yeah.
But I think one prediction could be that I think the Persona games will come to Game Pass. All of them, because they just got all the Yakuza games for Sega, and Sega owns Atlas, so maybe. I don't think they'll buy Atlas though. I don't think they'll buy Atlas.
I could see them buying the Yakuza development studio.
Maybe.
Because
they like
all
Yakuza.
the Yakuza games are coming to Game Pass.
They're all on there, yeah. But yeah.
Interesting. Thanks, guys.
My
That's
God.
our 2021 predictions.
We are actually coming up to almost 2 hours. Well, to be fair, there's not really much more to say about that. I think that is it. I enjoyed that though. Does anyone actually? This is really good. Before we move on, does anyone actually have a prediction that they're completely convinced is not going to happen of the other persons apart from Davs? Is there any prediction that you could categorically say?
Breath of the Wild is going to come out in 2022.
We should have.
Oh wait, that's next year.
Oh right, yeah.
I'm pretty confident of that.
Wow.
I think that's it. I feel like most of you were pretty spot on there, Dav. I feel like Switch Pro stuff. You know, there's going to have to be a lot of that. Was there anything that sounded really wildly? I mean, obviously the Reggie thing. I mean, I
can see that.
I don't think that's
I could see it. Right, that was what it was about. I thought like it's got to be something that you could see.
He was on Twitter recently saying a lot of stuff where I was like, okay, he kind of sounds like he could be a politician. The way he speaks. I mean, his job is basically being a politician, but was being a politician, but for Nintendo, basically. You know,
totally.
Just saying the right things and doing the right things. But yeah. Anything else? Anyone else want to add anything to their?
I'm looking forward to this year of games.
I think that's an awesome way to end. That is the end of podcast number 37, gents. 37 on the 1st of 2021. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, then please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Tell your friends and give us a review or a comment, because that would mean quite a lot to us. We'd enjoy that. Ultimately, we are supported by a whole host of wonderful people over on Patreon. Our lovely patrons. I've already thanked you, but you'll get another thanks. Thank you. There it is. If you would like to support us, then please go ahead and check out our Patreon page, Video Games Ahoy. You can pay £1, £5, £10, or anything you'd like. Like I said earlier, we've just put online our newest episode of the Hall of Fame. And if you pay £1, you can listen to that and all the other episodes so far. Hopefully we'll get another episode out in the next couple of weeks. It was, like I said earlier, quite controversial, but in the best kind of way. And if you don't want to or you can't, then that's not a problem at all. We just appreciate you listening to the podcast. We're also proud to say that we're affiliated with Green Man Gaming, so if you do have any gaming needs and want to look for some delicious deals, then make sure you head on over to Green Man Gaming via the link in the description. We just started streaming again. Dav Gape just done 2. Well, he's probably going to do more by the time this comes out, which is nice. I planned on doing some, but obviously I got COVID-19, so I thought I'll stay in bed. That's more fun.
All 19 of it.
Yeah, all 19, man. But yeah, other than that, keep an eye out for us streaming online. So hopefully we'll be back. Otherwise, we are Video Games Ahoy, and we'll see you next week. Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Ahoy!